Okay, time to take a look at how we're going to display our activity details, and what we're going to do is make this up with several components. There's a few things that we want to be able to do with our activity details page. It's going to have header content with the image. It's going to have an information panel that's got the information about the individual activity. We're going to have a chat component in there as well, so that we can have live chat going on about each activity. And we also want a sidebar that contains the attendees that are attending that activity. So what we'll do is we'll head back to VS Code and we'll go ahead and create the components we need for this. And inside our activities and details folder, let's create a new file, and we'll call this first one activity detailed header.tsx. And we'll create another new file called activity detailed info.tsx, and another file and say activity detailed chat.tsx, and finally one more for now, which is going to be the activity detailed sidebar.tsx. And what we'll do just for now for each of these components is we'll say import React from React, and then we'll say export default function, and this one's a sidebar, so I'll say activity detailed sidebar, and inside here we're just going to return an h1, and I'm just going to call it sidebar. And what we'll do is I'm just going to copy this into my clipboard and do the same for the other components, and just make a small adjustment for what they actually are. This is the chat component, and I'm just going to say chat. And for the info component, I'm just going to paste what I had in my clipboard and change this to activity detailed info, and just specify info in the h1, and do the same thing for the header and change this to activity detailed header, and specify header inside here. And then what we'll do is we'll go to our activity details component, and what we'll do inside here is we're going to remove the cards and remove all of this content, and what we're going to use is a semantic UI grid to display this, and let's make sure we get this imported. And we'll add a grid.column, and we'll make it width equal to 10. And inside here is going to go the activity detailed header, and also the activity detailed info, and the activity detailed chat. And then we'll add another grid column below this, so we'll say grid.column, and we'll give it a width equal to 6. And inside here is going to go the activity detailed sidebar. So we're just laying things out how we want them to be displayed in our details page. And if we go take a look and just refresh this page, then it's telling us that the element grid has no corresponding closing tag. And do I believe that? No, I don't. I think that all the new components has thrown React into a tailspin. So let's just go back and just stop the application and run npm start and just rebuild our app just to make sure that error is genuine. I'm not convinced it is. So let's take a look. And sure enough, now our application loads once again. So all we've got now is our different components laid out on our page, but they have no content. Now, coming up next, we're going to populate all of our components, but the code is a bit verbose, and it's really just the styling that we're looking at here. So what we do have is snippets to help us with this, and we'll take a look at that next.